Hi, this is Jim the Keys bartender coming to you for episode 98, The Balls. And it's not what you think you
I was going to say
dirtbags.
balls right off the bat.
I know.
I swear to God, I didn't even notice your
because
notes
I had
or
that
anything.
written real big.
I didn't even see that.
Okay,
I just saw
okay.
Wow, that's funny.
Okay, we're here at the Catch Restaurant here in Key Largo.
Collective unconscious, man.
That was Luke Glenn, and I'm here also with Bill Wissinger. Say hi.
Hi.
Luke already said hello. We're that you can't say hello again, but we're at the Catch Restaurant in Key Largo. It's happy hour, Monday through Friday here, 3:30 to 5:30, and we are going to later on. We're going to promo our. I like to call it our sister or brother establishment. This one in Northwest Houston called the Lone Star Ice House. And we'll talk about it a little more later.
Sounds like it's in Texas.
It is. It is in Texas. It's kind of a cool. Well, I'm going to go further in the day, but this is called the Balls. And yesterday, Bill, after the show, some weird things happened.
Oh.
Bill read a quote. We put quotes up on our chalkboard next to the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
And this was a movie quote, and it says, "I'm going to do it in a
Laugh
voice.
while you can, monkey boy.
Laugh while you can, monkey boy." And it was John Lithgow in Buckaroo Banzai's Adventures Across the Eighth Dimension with Peter Weller.
That was a great
movie.
movie.
And Forrest, not Whitaker, the guy was the bad guy in the Highlander.
Oh.
He was in it.
Yeah,
he was in it. And a guy that looked like
Jeff Goldblum was in it.
Jeff Goldblum was in it. Ellen Barkin was in it.
Oh, a young Ellen Barkin.
Yeah, young, hot Ellen Barkin, who was in the Big
Barkin.
Easy and all those movies.
Yeah, I'm still lost, too.
But the Monkey Boy, because I told the
Movies
story.
in the 80s I watched.
I told you this story.
Movies since then, not so much.
Yeah, if you want to hear the story about Monkey Boy, and you'll have to listen to episode 97. But 10 minutes after you left.
Monkey Boy?
Yeah. Well, someone overheard my story about Monkey Boy, and he asked me what that story was all about. And I'm telling him the story, and then all of a sudden I'm looking across the bar at the Blackwater Siren, and there he is.
The Monkey Boy?
Yeah, and I yelled to him. I said, "Hey, Monkey Boy!" And he raised.
And
I
it
didn't
turned
call
out to
him
be
Monkey
Phil?
Boy. He raised his. He said hi, and he came over. He started laughing, and he didn't remember everything that happened, so I repeated it. And the resulting line, he was trying to convince us of a story about a orangutan ripping some lady's arms off. But
it was a face.
That's what we said.
Yeah,
That's what he said. It was a chimpanzee.
Oh, yeah. We
and
talked
he brought
about
the
this. How do I know about this?
I don't know.
Well, maybe you were on you have a psychic link to Monkey Boy. But so he shows. I'm with Bob. I'll give you a brief synopsis. We're at the bar. Other things were happening. But Bob, Pam's husband, Bob,
Right.
he agrees with me. And the guy says, "I'm 100% sure it was orangutan."
So
and
it
he ripped his
happened
arm.
here or at the
No,
Siren?
in California.
I mean,
The thing here. The thing here.
Okay. All right.
So Bob looks at the YouTube video and he says, "That there is a chimpanzee, and that lady had her face ripped off." And the resultant thing at the end of it, this is Monkey Boy said it, "My bad, but you can't deny," his exact words were, "Boy, that monkey was a fucking asshole." And that was a great line. And then 10 minutes after we finished the episode where I was talking about it, Monkey Boy's on the other side of the bar.
There you go.
As well as some weird dude with a ponytail who had seen at Publix an hour before, who must have had the same shopping list I had, because we came in at the same time and we stopped at the milk, the eggs, the deli, and this, and he looked like I'm following him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he started looking at me, and I said, "Oh, fuck, I'll just go back and look at other shit."
Go look at
And
something
then-
else.
So he's looking at me
Actually,
weird
go
and
get
shit.
one of those,
And what you know, later, I'm sitting at the bar next to some of our friends. Sissy showed up and all
Yeah,
that.
okay.
I'm just hanging out, and there's that fucking dude walking into the bar right there.
There you go.
Now he can't say, "I'm stalking
Now
him."
you're stalking. Now he's stalking you.
Now I'm the one being stalked.
Yeah, go by get one of those.
He was
what
creepy.
did they have on special today at the deli? Oh, they had the boar's head jerk turkey with Gouda pepper cheese sub.
It
It was fantastic.
Are we getting okay? That's great, Publix. Listen up. You're going to owe us some.
It really was.
You're going to have to owe us some promotional stuff, maybe.
Get us a sub now and
Yeah,
again.
get us
We'll
a
be
sub
good.
sometime or something like that. So today was my daughter's first day in school. It was the first day back for Monroe County.
Yeah, I forgot about that shit. I live right behind the school. I went to go pull out this morning. I was cussing.
Yeah, and it's a
Man,
it's a mean,
I have to say this, man. My wife has 3 sisters, and so I always think, man, her poor dad having to raise 3 fucking girls, knowing how guys think. And so here it is. Your girl is getting that age. She's a teenager now, man.
She's not a teenager. She's 11 years old.
Close.
Well,
Couple
she's
years.
kind of tall and
I know, but luckily she's in a school where the kids are like the boys are 5'2" and stuff like that. There's
so
no
she
real-
can beat him up.
Well, and, yeah, I definitely could beat him up. So,
Well, I
yeah,
mean, she can.
Yeah,
you
she
know,
can.
but-
She's 5'7".
But
so.
I would hate to be a dad,
I
you
know.
know, of the daughters, man.
What's that old saw? Worst thing that I'm thinking of, see my daughter as a boy like me when I was 16.
You know,
No,
I mean,
see, I'm not really
bless
worried
their
about
hearts.
it.
That's why I never had kids,
No, I'm not really worried about it right now.
because I didn't want boys, because I knew they would
She's,
fuck up my
pretty
car
tough
like
kid.
I used to, you know, and tear up shit and get into everything, you know.
Okay. So
I-
it's okay.
You know, never
Back
mind.
to
I'll
something.
shut
Ann,
fuck
first
up.
day of school, and she was nervous about she was going to a new school.
First day of
Yeah,
school.
no, we're going to talk about this before we talk about the balls.
I pooped my pants on the first day of school,
Not
first
kindergarten.
grade.
Oh, I was hoping it was in high school.
No. In
Only
high
fucking
school,
grade.
I would have took a
In
shit
ninth
on
grade.
something, but not in my pants.
Well, she was nervous. She was going to a new school because her school ended at 5th grade, and she's going to the Treasure Village in Almirada. And I told her
That's a
and
Montessori,
I realized this.
man.
My father was in the Navy as well as I, but when my father was in the Navy, he, you move around a lot, and normally you're at least staying a year in place. But what happened is my parents, when I was 7, went through a separation and divorce. And for a couple of years, they were breaking up and going back and forth. So I went 2 years. I went to 3 different schools. Until I went to high school, almost every school I went to, I didn't know anybody when I went to that school.
That must be bizarre, man.
16 different schools.
Wow.
2 of them I was enrolled for one day.
There you go.
Because one, we ended up in the middle of the year going to Philadelphia, going to public school. And I was 10 years old. And at that point, I think I started getting used to it. So it was like prison. You just didn't let anybody step up to you or anything like that. And there were a couple cute girls in there. And I seemed like I was going to be popular. We went home for lunch because the school was in the neighborhood. And my sister's crying. I didn't even make it through the whole day.
Younger or
My
older sister?
Older sister. And she ended up being the trouble one, Peggy. She was the one that got in trouble in high school and stuff like that.
Started
But she was
smoking cigarettes first and all
yeah,
that.
and all that stuff. But in elementary school, she didn't like that school because she thought the kids were mean, and we ended up going to Catholic school, which we were lucky that we didn't
Just
get
the nuns were mean.
that we didn't get molested while we were there. It's going to piss off my Catholic relatives. But then again, with the news that came out of Pittsburgh yesterday,
Was that 1,000?
3,000 kids, 3,000 priests, and they were organized. They looked like they had a plan.
Yeah, they did.
I mean,
Touch
I
everybody.
used to think that it was singular events, and they were protecting. This one was organized. That's one that's really crazy. And
mean,
but I
hell.
told my daughter, going back to this, forgetting about pedophile priests.
Magic Johnson didn't even put up those numbers.
Yeah, 16
Jesus.
schools. Well, Magic Johnson by himself, these were 300 priests.
Yeah, I know. But,
And
you know,
they gave the kids gold crosses to show that they were being groomed.
Groomed?
Groomed. Is that what you call
so
it now?
other priests would know if they saw the gold cross that this kid was all right because he was a troubled kid and he would be susceptible to their
molestation.
approaches.
Yeah.
Which is some high-level, sick, predatory
Yeah, that's,
shit.
that's fucked up.
They were organized,
Yeah.
man.
So, yeah, they were organized. That's the thing that makes it most sick of that.
And it went on
No.
for a long, long
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
man.
And I didn't mean it. It's interesting that I didn't plan on talking about it. We called this the balls.
The balls.
Okay,
So,
but it's about
go ahead with your daughter's first day of school.
Well,
Holy shit, Luke's getting it back on
Luke
topic.
Luke got back on topic. Is this the first? Is this the first or what?
Yo, make a note of that, damn.
Let's gotta write this down. In this day of history, Wednesday, 8/15/18.
Luke brought the conversation
Luke brought
back.
the conversation back. So she got there. Abby's walking her up to the door, and she goes to Abby, my wife, "Don't go in this class with me. I'll go in." Abby starts crying, and one of Norelle Prue, Doug's wife, she's there, and she's on the board of the school. She asks Abby. She says, "Calm down, don't worry, come with us, and we'll go." And they had a meeting going on. Can I get a
So the Treasure Village Montessori School down there was built by a guy named Art McKee, and there's all kinds of
It looks like
gold coins from the shipwreck. See, Art McKee, he was the one that told fucking Fisher to shut the fuck up and don't tell anybody that they found these wrecks. Well, Mel Fisher wanted the glory and stuff, but Art McKee was smart. So when he built that fucking castle, man, he hid a lot of coins in and around that castle,
really?
In the walls and stuff like that.
Well, he had his own little place before the castle. It was a little smaller, like dive shop type place.
Yeah.
And then once it got expanded, he built the castle. And then when he died, it was his kids or his grandkids?
It was Spanky,
Spanky?
Kevin. Spanky was that's a whole nother story, but
Either way, they gutted it and sold it off.
I don't know. Did we put in perspective for our listeners that the building they're talking about, this Treasure Village Montessori,
it's a castle.
It's a castle, not.
I mean, it's
in
not
the
an
grand,
old castle.
Yeah, the grand European sense.
It's like
But
a
it looks like-
Disney type looking castle. You know?
Oh, Disneyland because it's small.
Yeah, it's small
Disney's like the Disneyland is the little person.
Well, you know
of
how
the
Disney World does. They make shit look old. You know, it's all artwork. It's not real. It's not old. It just looks that way.
It's like young people make me look old. You know, in bright sunlight and and lack of sleep and saggy balls make you look old.
No, when you sit on your own ball sack, that's how you know that you're getting old.
You know what I was thinking? We since we're going to be talking later on about the Lone Star Ice House, that if we ever go on a trip, if we ever get a trip where I can book your band through a bunch of places and book the show, and then we can go on a road trip, like for maybe 2 weeks, and hit all these places, and we could get maybe a promotion. Or
There's no pooping in the motorhome,
no
man.
pooping in a motorhome. Just saying we could get like text.
Dude, we're gonna upper deck you. We're gonna upper deck the hell out of him.
No, the Tux medicated pads.
Oh, yeah.
For you
Yeah,
guys.
if you're gonna have the tux, I'm all for that.
I got Tux right there next to my commode now.
I know.
Because you just never know.
They are a musician's best friend.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Especially when you're eating road food, man.
God. I remember rolling through Piggly Wiggly buying a loaf of Wonder Bread and some cheap American cheese slices and bologna.
Blow me.
And hey, we got enough money. We can get some good mustard.
Yeah.
Get some good spicy
And you
mustard.
wonder why your ass is bothering you. You're not eating that. You didn't mention anything about vegetables or anything. I'm not talking about sticking them up your ass.
Who
I'm
could
talking about
afford
eating them.
vegetables when you're a musician, man? You can't even
Vegetables are
afford.
cheap.
You can't even afford peanut butter, man.
Vegetables are cheaper than bologna. When you
Yeah,
go to-
but they don't last as long, man.
No,
It's like
man.
a Chinese dinner, man.
No, you eat some lettuce, you eat some spinach and stuff like that.
And it's digested in 10 minutes, and you got no fucking.
And then you're
power
looking for your
out of
bologna
it.
wrap.
Yeah.
Well, no, but you use it to clean out your system.
Dude, I'm telling you,
You know
man,
that? You need
bologna
broccoli
wraps
to
are
clean out your
golden for
Well,
cleaning out your system.
I love the fact. Did you ever listen to any of the documentaries on Metallica speaking about bologna?
No.
So before they became famous, they had a little saying. They were so broke that they couldn't afford a bologna sandwich, so they had what was called bologna on ham on their hand. So
Yeah.
they couldn't afford the bread. They would just take the bologna, roll it up, and eat it
There
just
you go.
like
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Oh,
we had
I've
sink
eaten bologna
noodles.
wraps. I've eaten bologna wraps.
We had
Well,
sink
bologna
noodles.
on
the bread
hand.
normally was cheaper than the bologna.
But they couldn't afford
Dude,
them both.
you're in
So
the
it was
wrong
either.
damn-
Okay.
And
You're in the wrong damn place. Bologna is the cheapest.
Yeah,
of
it's
the
like
cheap.
99 cent
No,
pack.
not cheaper than bread.
It's not
Yeah.
cheap, but it,
Bologna?
You said decent bologna.
Yeah, like Oscar Mayer.
Oh fuck
No, man, we're
talking Piggly Wiggly brand.
Oh,
Yeah.
brand, man.
that, man.
We're talking chicken lips and
Yeah,
turkey
chicken lips,
gizzards.
You
pig
might as well
parts.
get a bunch of bananas and get some bananas and bread.
We're not
Definitely
talking
not
about
kosher
beef.
bologna.
No. Oh shit. No.
No, look, man. There is very, very little.
If you could find, yourself buying 2 beers, you can afford.
there is very
So,
little.
Yeah,
that
but
a-
the
we used to make-
musicians need the beers to keep playing.
Yeah,
there's
man.
very little that a
energy beer, man.
There's very little that a bologna maker with a good sized grinder will not put through.
And-
that.
and,
it's
ro-
funny
and,
you said about that bologna thing.
ramen noodles,
You ever see
man.
the movie Barfly?
no.
Mickey Rourke.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mickey Rourke.
No, well, I don't
and,
know if I've ever seen the movie, but I've seen the scene
and
where he
Faye
pushes
Dunaway.
the car through the intersection. He gets mad at the guy in front of him,
I don't
and
think
he just pushes
that
the
could be
car
him.
right through.
Yeah, he was almost like a homeless drunk, but he's a writer. I think it was a play on Barfly. It was a play on Charles Bukowski.
Right.
You ever hear he's a famous American writer?
No, but
Okay, Charles
keep going.
Bukowski, but he was funny as shit. Well, at one point he's a drunk, right? And every time he runs into a bar, he the bartender leaves. He runs up to the fucking bar, sticks his head under the tap, opens it up,
There you
puts
go.
his mouth right under it, and drinks as much as he can. So one day, this guy at the bar sends him over to pick up a sandwich for him at the deli. And Mickey Rourke is a drunk, but he's good with his hands, like Mickey Rourke in real life was. That's the reason why he got all that fucking facial reconstruction, because it was boxing.
Yeah.
It messed up his face, and he got some real nasty reconstruction work done.
Didn't he have a famous dad?
I don't know. I don't know about that. But in this movie, when he gets a sandwich for the guy, he brings his sandwich back. And the guys start ripping on him, trying to belittle him. And he doesn't mind, but the guy laid it on a little too much. And he looks at it, he goes, "Oh, that sandwich really looks good. Ham, cheese, fuel. That's what I need. I need some fuel." And he takes the sandwich from the guy. I don't know if he beats that guy up, but there's a big-ass bartender. And he tells the bartender, "If I had this fuel, I'm going to kick your ass," because he's always getting his ass beat by the bartender. Once he ate the sandwich, he had a little more energy. He beat the shit out of that bartender. Yeah. And that ham and cheese and stuff like that. You're right.
There
You
you
do
go.
need the bologna. He said ham and cheese. I need fuel.
Yep.
There you
And that's
go.
what you guys were using. The bread, you know what? The bread gives you longer lasting calories, but actually more wasted. So, okay, let's move on. I'm going to talk about a little place in...
Beer and bread are very closely related, man.
Really?
Yep.
So if I gave you a couple slices of bread and I kept the beer, you'd be happy?
No, it's the other way around.
I've lived on beer for years, man.
Okay. I'm just
Yeah,
saying it's closely related, not close
We're-
enough.
we're gonna
that
be
you
drinking-
drink
we're
the
gonna
beer.
be
Like
drinking our dinner
Jesus
once
said,
again.
man cannot live by bread alone, but by every fucking malted
There we go.
hop and stuff, man.
Okay. Well,
I think that's what
Have you
Jesus
been to
said
Houston?
or something.
Oh, hell
I
yes.
have, man. I actually was at the Houston Astrodome when I was a little kid, and I was like, wow, artificial turf, and I was wearing shorts, and I went to slide on the grass, gave myself a big-ass strawberry,
which one were
man.
you in the Bad News Bears?
No, that wasn't me, man. No, I was the fat one on the fucking toilet eating chicken.
No, you
There
were
you
one of
go.
the 2 Mexican kids, right?
We used to laugh like hell. I was living in Galveston. We'd show up in Houston, and of course I was a musician playing. So we're walking around wearing shorts, short sleeve Western shirts, cowboy hats, and flip flops.
Okay.
And you get the guys up. Where the hell you boys from? Galveston? It's like, yeah. How can you tell?
Not to railroad your conversation, but speaking about football fields, sliding, getting your, the burn and
Raspberry.
everything.
AstroTurf.
So when they were building the Dolphin Stadium, however many years ago that was, a local friend of ours
The
here
Joe Robbie Stadium?
that I won't mention his name. I don't know. I'm not old enough
they
to
changed it
remember
again.
it. So.
Yeah.
But they were building it, and he was driving around in a work truck, and they just so happened to have hard hats in the back of it. They threw the hard hats on and came up to the security guard, got waved in. So they have this pile of photos of them on the football field before it was open to the public.
Yeah.
So he's got a picture of him pissing in the owner's box,
Yeah.
streaking up and down the field, right out there in the middle with their big old truck, doing donuts. They had a good old time. They climbed up everything and then
There you go.
and then left. But yeah, they got waved right through with security just because they had hard hats, vest, and
Yep.
a work-looking truck. So
Look like you belong there.
yeah, if you
Okay.
remind me one of these days, I'll invite him so he can tell the story.
Oh, I love
There
to
you
hear
go.
that story. Well, have you been to Northwest Houston?
I've
Northwest Houston, there's the little hangout with the largest patio in town.
I
Lone
was there
Star
20
Ice
years
House.
ago, so that probably wasn't there then.
I don't know how old it is, but they're open from 12 noon to 2 a.m. and they're a sports bar and they got pool tables. They have
To 4?
cornhole to 2.
Oh,
12 to 2. Every state has weird. Like Georgia had. I always thought Georgia was when we were talking yesterday.
Georgia does it by county, and the problem with counties is there are like 150 fucking counties in Georgia.
Yeah.
You drive 5 miles, it's a different county.
In Atlanta, it was 3 a.m. Outside Atlanta, it's like 12 and shit like that.
Or
So-
actually, if you go a little bit farther north up to Dahlonega, you can buy it till 4 in the morning.
Boy, you're pissing off these people at the Ice House right now.
Fine.
Oh, no.
I'm just
They
talking
were
about
nice.
Dahlonega.
They're nice people.
No, I'm not finding them. I'm finding you.
Okay,
I think
that's
it's
how
funny
you
that
do
he
it.
said Dahlonega.
God
Well,
bless
this
you.
hangout is a sports bar. It's a little like okay. It's like one of those old road similar to the roadhouses, except it's not like in the Blues Brothers. They don't have the chicken wire and stuff like that, but they have live music, DJs, karaoke. I was doing a little research on it.
When you
They have
said
the
Roadhouse,
Houston
I was thinking about
Astros,
the one with Patrick
games
Swayze.
on
so-
Rockets, the Texans headquarters.
So
Houston
I thought
Texans.
the
I'm from
Houston
Philadelphia,
Astros
but I'm-
disbanded for a while.
Yeah.
Are they back together
Yeah, I
again?
think the Houston
Astros are
Astros
back
are still there.
Because I know they tear down the Astrodome.
Yeah, I think the Astrodome's
the
going.
one I was at when I was like,
They got a
in
new.
6th grade.
I remember this because I saw it on
Okay.
TV a few years back. They got some orange something.
I really apologize, guys. I was in the middle of talking about your bar.
Go
These
right
guys
ahead.
are talking about the Astrodome.
well,
I
it's
do
in
apologize.
your town, man.
It is
you
in your
know?
town. We when they talk, they have 3 8-foot pool tables. The felts replaced every 6 months.
Oh, cool.
They got bar top trivia games, cornhole, darts, 2 state-of-the-art boards. Those,
So what
electronic
is
boards.
actually a regulation size pool table?
I don't know.
Maybe
Because
8 foot.
in England, their tables are different
It's
than the
called
ones
billiards.
here.
It's called billiards.
Billiards. One of them are billiards.
Billiards. Once again, I apologize for the interruption, guys.
I don't think there's holes in a billiard table either.
Yeah, there's holes in billiard tables.
That was the one where you have to try to bank it.
Yeah, you
all
do.
around.
You have to hit certain balls in certain order, but you still got to pot the ball.
What's the one that has the shit in the middle, like a pinball machine?
Oh, that's bumper
kinda?
pool.
That's a what?
Bumper pool.
Yeah.
I ain't seen a
Hey,
bumper pool
guys,
table
in,
forever.
if you're listening to me in the Lone Star Ice House, I apologize.
I
These
promise
guys
we're gonna
cannot
get
stay
back
on
to you.
topic at all.
Okay, let's let Jim finish.
They don't stay on topic at all. But if you get the chance, stop in there. It's also it's in Trumbull, but it says in some of these places you got the metropolitan area, and you got your city, so it's said it's Houston, but I think it's officially Trumbull. And
The
balls.
outskirts.
We got balls. I didn't.
Well,
do
hell, I know
balls.
Houston's farther
But,
east than Amarillo is
Yeah.
now.
If you're
It
looking
swallows
for a
that
good
up.
game of pool where you're in the Houston area, that's the place to go, and they'll hook you up. And I'd like to thank the general manager, Jonathan Groh, and his staff, beautiful ladies, and I'm sure there's gentlemen there too. But the ones they show in the poster, those lovely posters.
Some people don't like to be called gentlemen, man. You got to be careful how you throw that fucking word around, man.
Well, I'm doing it, Luke, so you don't have to worry about it.
All right,
I
but
can
I'm
handle
telling you,
myself.
some people
For
hate to be
anybody-
called a gentleman.
I've never had anybody come and kick my ass because I called them a gentleman. Okay.
First time
ain't
for
been to
everything.
Texas.
Yep, there's a
It's because
first
you
time.
ain't been to West Virginia
Well, it's not
yet.
going to happen. It won't happen. And his beautiful bevy of ladies, Ashley, Erica, Cammie, Melissa, Raquel, and Sammy. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other people that work there, but that's all the information I got on that stuff. And we'd like to thank those guys and Jen for sending us the information about the Lone Star Ice House. So if you're in Northwest Houston, check it out. Okay, the balls. Now we can get back to talking about the balls.
I've got the biggest balls of them all.
Some balls are made for bouncing, some held for fancy dress. But when they're held for pleasure, they're the balls that I like best. He's got big balls.
She's got
got
big
big
She's
balls.
got big balls.
But we've got the biggest balls of them all. Okay. Well,
Thank you, ACDC,
And if my
for
aunt, if my
that
aunt had,
fucking
if
lyric.
my aunt only but had balls, she'd be my uncle.
was that in that song too?
No, it's a completely different one.
Oh, okay. I said, holy shit, that doesn't sound like AC
No.
DC at all. Well,
No,
I like it.
that's wishing for something that's never going to happen.
Oh, you know what? I thought it was interesting.
That's wishing for something that's never going to happen.
Oh, well, the balls story. We had this Saturday came in, and Holly got super pissed at me as a result. I found out today, but I'm still going to tell the story, and it's still fucking funny to me.
Well, what's new? Holly's pissed at you.
Yeah, I know. It's just one of those things.
Nothing new.
It's a permanent state. So
Holly's always mad at Jim.
So I come in on Saturday at 4 o'clock. She's there on a double, and there's a guy there, and he starts showing pictures of every famous athlete he's ever ran into and had a picture taken with.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And he says, oh, look at this, look at this. And half the guys I don't recognize. Some of them are way past.
I actually got a photo request and an autograph request today.
From who?
A very nice young lady who's watched all of Video Dave's videos of me.
Oh, really?
I
Where
was
this?
here before we started the show.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Her mom came up and drugged me. Luke and I were talking.
It's a
Her
good
mom
thing I
came
wasn't
up.
wearing my hat. That would have really
I know that would have
confused
confused
them.
the hell out of her. She wouldn't have been known which one of us to talk to.
Hi, Jenna. Yeah. So how many, how old was this young girl?
I'm thinking early 20s.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. You know, I hear, Luke, you're like Mickey Mouse, not a character, but whenever people are always taking a fucking picture with you.
Dude, I'm on so many
Anybody-
Facebook fucking
You too?
videos.
People like fucking a freak show, man, and I'm a freak show.
No, you're not. No, to me, you're not a freak show.
That's because we live in the
we need to
Keys,
get-
man.
We need to get our picture today. I'd like to get our picture together with Tony, too. And then definitely we're going to need pictures next week. See,
Have a good one, man.
We'll see y'all.
so this guy comes in.
I
shows
think we
us-
should go get our picture at the funeral home in front of the like in front of a casket or in front of the crematorium.
We
man.
can put Jim in one of the caskets.
There you go.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Would you do that?
Yeah. I got a
You
rental
could- you
casket
could
I
do
can
it?
use that
You got a
for.
rental ca-
Yeah.
Hold
Rent a
on.
casket.
Hold on, let's
Wow,
back
what
this
a-
up.
Beep,
All right, we're gonna
We
put
got
you
talking
on the
about a
ground
rental
and-
casket.
I'm there, man. I'm
This is an unknown concept to me.
Did you
Ask
see
away.
that? Did you see how I didn't say no right away?
This is an unknown concept.
no,
to
no,
me.
no, wait. Okay, let me tell you a little-
We're going to have to discuss.
We're going to
this a
still
little
talk
bit.
about. We're holding up. We're putting a book.
Yeah,
we're
it
putting,
is definitely not available for children's parties.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I'm going to put a bookmark.
Oh, you can do the makeup and everything.
Let's put
right?
the bookmark. Let's put the bookmark in the ball story. The guy told
Stick
us
the
thing, let me
bookmark
tell you
between
a
your
story.
balls.
No. Let me tell you a story. At
You were still
Rosewood
pissing
Caters-
off Holly.
Rosewood Caters. I told you this. Every year they do a party for Atlas Casket. You know who Atlas Casket is, right?
Yes.
Atlas Casket would have a big party up in Philadelphia. They'd invite 400 funeral directors. Our first floor, they put in maybe 100 caskets. The second floor, they'd put, we had the buffet and everything. Both floors, all the bars were open. And we were serving hors d'oeuvres and stuff, and people eating hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. So I was one of the bartenders / managers there at the time. I don't know if I was a manager at the time, but I was upstairs. We were drinking after work, and we always used to do this at Rosewood. At the end, it was like the bar was open for another 2.5 hours for the workers afterwards. It's fucking great. You would have loved Bill. This would have been your place, and you definitely could have got you a gig there. But it would have been interesting. And so it was night. All the caskets are downstairs. A friend of mine, Eileen Morelli, said she left something downstairs, and she was going to go down to get it. I ran down through our kitchen and laid in a casket, and I seen her come down the steps, and I had the casket closed and a little propped, and you got to crank those suckers. You can't lock someone in, and on those display caskets. I mean, I knew that from the time I tried it on the outside, and I tried it on the inside, and wouldn't let it. And so they had it on these
Because they
cardboard.
seal shut, man. They're airtight.
I know, but they crank them down when they do that. So Eileen comes down the steps, and Eileen was in her early 50s.
And she had one leg shorter
And I
than
was
the
in
other.
it. I was in my late 20s. She's coming down the steps. It's pitch black in there, except for the light coming down from the lobby. And there was a gold casket. And then she came in. I started cracking it open it real slow. And she wasn't a tall woman, but she took the steps 3 at a time. like a deer going up the steps. It was beautiful. It was so fast. And I'm laughing my ass off. I come up, and at the end of the night, I think I had to lock up. And don't you fucking know I lost my keys? You know where they were?
In the casket.
In the casket. I had to go back into the completely dark building. I didn't want to turn the lights back on. Go with a flashlight, open the casket, and grab my keys. And I was shitting myself. And I had friends that had that were funeral directors in Philadelphia, and my buddy had a flower shop. And I used to regularly go in those places and deliver flowers, and it'd be like they'd have the bodies in the area being prepped, the big funeral homes and stuff like that. But that's funny that they mentioned that putting me in a casket. I'll go in a casket. You know, someday eventually I'll be in that situation.
I've always wondered why people like, I guess, you know, years ago before embalming sciences and stuff, when people would die, I figured they brought flowers just to keep the smell down.
Actually, that's true.
That is true. You know, in
that's how they
African-American
started with
communities-
the nosegays and bouquets on the collar and stuff.
In Philadelphia, in African American communities, after the advent of the video recorders, they used to video the from the casket, have a video camera pointing at the casket during the wake. Do you smell something?
I smell hot
What,
wings
does
that
it smell
smell
like
really
stiff dick in
fucking
here?
good, man. Yeah.
Yeah, the microphone smells like hot wings.
Oh, okay. That's Buffalo Wings. That's
Mine smells like
that's made by
stale
Buffalo
beer
Wings,
still.
hot wing microphone.
I smell buffalo wings too, so it's.
I do
maybe
too.
not,
Wait a second. It's not that.
It's not the microphone.
Tony and Mike and Kathy got hot wings. That's what you're
It's
smelling.
not the microphone.
Okay.
They got a stack of 20 over there.
The microphone would
man.
probably smell more like beer and halitosis.
Yeah.
So this guy, back to the story I took us off mark, was
We'll talk about the rental later.
the balls.
I'm
Oh no,
still-
we'll
I
talk
gotta
about the
talk about
plans.
rental
Hey, this is a
caskets.
cute dog coming up here. Hey, doggy. Hey, dog. There's a cute little dog. Puppy dog. Hello. So this guy comes in, shows us all the pictures of the defunct former athletes. I didn't see any current athletes. And he starts talking about it. And he also gives me a card, and he says, I'm a real estate agent. And if you'd like to take any bets, I'll take bets for you. You don't have to put any money down. It's all above board. It's nice like that. It's not fucking nice like that. Anybody says something like that and they take bets without
You know
taking
it's
money.
a scam.
Not a scam. Meaning, I can place a bet and say put 100 on the Packers or something like that.
Yeah.
With points.
Yeah.
They're
You know-
gonna. They're gonna.
you got 40 points.
No, they're gonna collect it.
Yeah.
They're gonna collect it some way. It's not nice.
Right.
The only way you can collect is not being nice. And then
That's
in the
why I
end,
don't bet,
he's
man.
talking to Holly and something. He hands her a bag of 3 balls.
3
Baseballs.
balls.
3
Oh,
baseballs.
you ever showed us the 3-ball bag?
3-ball bag.
3-ball bag.
And
Was he the crash test dummy, or was he the singer from Crash Test Dummy?
I know what you're talking about.
His voice is so low
Once
because he has 3
there
balls.
was this
balls.
girl
Oh, okay.
Is that why?
Yes.
wouldn't
Damn.
He
go
had
and
3 balls?
change with
That's the
the
story.
girls in the change
it works
room.
for
And
me.
when they finally made her, they saw
Superman.
spots
never
all over her
made
body.
any money.
She couldn't quite explain it. They'd always just been there.
I thought it was so hard.
Well, I have kind of a deep voice anyway.
What'd you say?
I always like
thought
that
it said
song,
so
man.
Yeah, but you got 2
No, they'd
octaves
always
on
just
top
been
of
there.
that.
Hard.
But there's another.
I got what?
There's
But you
3
got
different
2.5
lines,
octaves
though.
on
The
top
first
of
one's
that.
the girl with the birthmarks.
Probably, yeah.
and-
One was a
Yeah.
crash.
See,
Yes,
I only
there
have
was
that.
one
I
with the
only have that
crash.
one octave all the
His
way
hair
down
turned
there.
white because of a car crash.
Because the crash was so hard.
From when the car
Oh,
smashed
oh.
so hard. Yeah, his hair
Once
turned
that
from
was a
jet black to
boy
bright
who
white.
Went to Pittsburgh parochial school with a priest, and it was so hard. I'm not making light of it. I am so sorry that happened, and that is miserable. But okay, so the guy left a bag of balls, saying if anybody famous comes in,
Have
what do you
him
mean,
sign
like
my
Jimmy
balls.
Johnson? Well, Jimmy Johnson was a football coach.
And he's
you're right.
associated with the Big Chill.
Well, that doesn't matter. If he was in the Encore before, and all that stuff.
Kimberly, my old lady, used to wait on him down at Hog Heaven years ago.
Really? I heard you gave him a lap dance once.
No,
But-
no. Actually, though, one of the weirdest things, man. So I was playing at this was years ago, playing at the fishing tournament at the Big Chill, and so I see Jimmy Johnson walking up, and he asked one of the owners,
Larry.
no, it wasn't Larry, it was Dominic, I think, and I could
I don't
tell
know if
that he asked,
Dominic's
"Oh,
the
what's this
manager."
guy's name?" And so. You know, I could read his lips. And so he gets up, I finish the song, and he goes, "Hey, Luke, how you doing?" And he shakes my hand, you know. But it was just really nice of him to even give a
Right.
fuck to be able to call me by name, you know.
You know what? See how nice he is by touching his hair.
Oh, I would never violate. No, man. I don't like people fucking with my hat, and I will never fuck with somebody's hair.
Touch my hair.
I don't want to touch your hair.
Why not? It's beautiful.
It's so short you can't even fuck it up.
It's thick. It's thick and lustrous, isn't it?
I don't
Admire
know.
my hair. Love my hair.
I don't know. It
Love
kind
my
of
hair.
looks like a headpiece.
It could be. You're right. You fucking found my secret out. Here's a hair, please. Hair Club for Men. I was member number 8,233.
He has headpiece on his head.
Yes. So he asked to get the ball signed. And he said, like, people like Jimmy Johnson, so it doesn't have to be a baseball player. So starting Monday night, I think Sunday night, Monday night, I started getting everyone to sign it. And then Tuesday night, Holly's in. And she found that the balls were worth like $20 or $40 a piece. And she got super pissed off. And then I just went like this. Well, no, I bought. I actually went on Amazon within 5 minutes. And they have them shipped directly to my house. And I said, no reason to get angry anymore. Problem solved. You get your, but I get those old balls of mine. I'm sure there's a lot of women said those old balls of mine, but they meant something different. Yeah. I always wanted to keep those, and then all of a sudden say, hey, did you get those balls signed? Yeah, here you go. Got Jimmy Hawkins. Got a guy named Keith. Got this guy named Joe who came in with his Smelly Joe sign your balls.
So I'm still trying to figure out, why is this not going to happen? You kind of jumped right over that. Holly got upset that you had all of us sign those balls, but you didn't explain why.
Because she wanted him to be from famous people.
He wanted to be
I
famous
guess.
people.
Him, but you said Holly got upset.
Oh yeah, because she just thought those balls were hers, and because he handed them to her, but he asked us to get them signed
Because Holly was upset that they weren't her balls.
Ah, that makes more sense.
It violated her balls.
Ah, wow. You know.
Makes more sense now.
Yeah. But I just said, don't worry anymore. I'm going to get you new balls.
There.
Your balls are on the way.
She's having
I don't
a ball
know if
transplant.
Holly needs new balls.
I got a sack of balls going. I said. Then I looked at. I just said, "No reason to be angry anymore."
I think
and she
Holly-
was still angry. She's
Damn.
going to tell Sean. And
I can't
she's
think of
still-
what they call
I
them.
think
people
Holly
are still
still
going to
has-
maintain that anger. They got to maintain their anger when
I-
you gave them the solution
I
to
think-
not being angry anymore. I'm going to take care of that whole thing. I
I
am
think
so
Holly
sorry.
still
I think you
has
should
more
get
balls
softballs.
than
That way people with bad
anybody
eyes
else
have more
needs to
room to
have.
sign.
Well, you weren't here. You're never here when there's a problem, and I got to go and take care
Well,
of it.
there you go.
Everyone runs in the fucking back of the house.
Well, not that I
And
want
why
to
do they call it a softball anyway, man? Have you ever been hit in the head with
Oh,
one of them
fucking
motherfuckers? They're
softball
not
hurts
all
like a
that soft,
motherfucker.
man.
Yeah, not to bring your conversation back to where it was, but you were talking about Jimmy Johnson a minute ago, and my wife reminded me that. So you guys know who Terry Bradshaw is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you know how he was in that movie Failure to Launch, where he
Yeah.
was the father. Okay, so in that movie, he's bare
didn't
ass
see that
in there
movie.
in the naked room. So a friend of mine printed off that photo off the internet back when Terry was trying to raise money for something by having people sign famous photos of him. So my friends, who are good friends with Jimmy Johnson,
Was it a frontal nude of
No,
him?
it's back.
Oh.
Sent the photo in, they actually gave it to Jimmy, and then Jimmy, on air, live, said, hey, Terry, you know how you're talking about trying to have people to sign this photo? My friends David and Dawn from Upper Keys Marine Construction, they gave me this photo to have
fucking
you
DeBrules?
have you sign. So
Holy
live
shit,
on
that's
Fox
fantastic.
News or Fox Sports,
Yeah.
he holds up the nude picture of Terry Bradshaw. They didn't blink it out. They didn't do anything.
Well, it's just his
Terry's
butt,
face
right?
got just his butt. Terry's face
Terry
got
Bradshaw got embarrassed.
his
All the shit
face
he
turned
did,
like 10 shades of red.
all the
Oh, that's
crying,
great.
all
Did
the
he sign
crying he
it?
did on air and all that
I have
stuff. and he's
the I have
embarrassed.
the video on my phone because David and I are right there. We knew it was going to happen, so we're
Oh,
watching
that's
the TV with
fantastic.
the
Oh, I
recorder
believe it.
going,
I
but-
certainly,
oh,
certainly
my
believe
God.
it. But after all the embarrassing shit, Terry
Well, and
Bradshaw,
Dave is quite the prankster. I'm so glad he set that up. That's
Oh,
funny
my
as
God.
hell.
It was hilarious.
that's a good one. Fuck, man, I was just brought something to mind, and I just went blank on something like that.
See, that's
I
why you
gotta
need
take
to do
Dave some ribs. I
cocaine
just
before
smoked
the
up some
show.
ribs. I got to
man.
take him some.
Say
What?
it again.
I just smoked up some ribs. I got to take Dave some ribs.
Oh yeah.
We go
Okay,
back
now-
and forth on barbecue.
Yeah, I just had.
Yeah, he's talking about getting that new smoker with the electronic thing that feeds it with the hopper.
On a more interesting note, I don't
There
mean
is-
to say-
there
we're
is-
talking
Technology.
About, yes, I'm talking about smoker. It's not necessarily. We're not a cooking show.
There is nothing more interesting than smoking ribs.
Okay, well, there we go. I'm talking.
I saw
I was on. It was a Tony, do me a
hamburger
favor,
making
bud.
machine, man. They have a robot that's making hamburgers. It
I saw
slices
that.
all their shit and whatnot, and that's
Wait,
out
really?
in San Francisco or some shit. I
A
think.
robot.
Well,
was
it's
like
probably
that.
a
It's
vegan
it's a
hamburger
robot hamburger maker.
Well, that's kind of like a single-use robot, isn't it?
Well, actually, it does a lot of shit.
Oh, come on. How about a Belgian waffle maker?
Because
I know. Why would you have a single use? A robot, best fucking robot, is a guy that does like 1,000 different jobs. Why do you do that? Like Surrey. Surrey just doesn't answer your
Who?
phone calls. Surrey can also pick a radio station, can turn off your lights and do all that stuff.
Siri can't understand a drunk redneck accent. Fuck her.
Okay. Oh, man, you're rude to Surrey. I know. You were
You
fucking
have
rude.
no idea how rude
I know
this
you and
Siri
Bill,
can
you
get.
and Luke are so fucking rude to Surrey. Okay, you know
I actually had to turn-
We're gonna have Luke talk to Surrey.
I had to
and I'm gonna
turn
apologize
Siri
to Surrey.
off.
Can I
'cause she
apologize
just
after
pisses
you're
me
done?
off.
she doesn't see. Here's what aggravates me about Siri.
She's not offended.
No, she gets offended, and she's like, she doesn't even exist. What the fuck, man? How
Well,
can you
wait,
be?
wait. How do you know that's what existence is when in for artificial intelligence? But first, let's get back.
Because Siri
to,
cannot
let's
think for
talk
herself.
To Bruce Willis.
But she does do some
we're
cool
talking.
shit.
You talked about Terry Bradshaw's ass. We talked about Terry Bradshaw's ass.
I wasn't
You know
talking
the-
about his ass.
Yeah, you were.
No, I
You
was
said
not.
Terry Bradshaw has a sweet ass.
I did not say
I
any
remember
such a
you
thing.
saying it.
Well, that's called a false memory.
I
It's
know.
just
I
kind of
created
like
it. Now it's there. It's on the air. But you didn't. No, Luke didn't say that. But you know what? That would be fucking awesome.
I remember Terry
Okay, I'm on
Bradshaw
the set-
being in
I'm
the
on
Burt
set
Reynolds
of
movie.
Unbreakable. I'm on the set of Unbreakable in Franklin Field.
What's
Remember-
Unbreakable?
Bruce Willis movie.
Oh yeah,
Tony,
with a
Samuel L. Jackson.
And so Samuel L. Jackson, he can break a finger, a bone as easy as
Glass, like glass.
yeah. He's like made
okay.
of
I'm
glass.
on the set of Unbreakable. My ex-wife's one of her good friends was the assistant art director, and she let me go in
On that movie?
And yeah, and she was in there. She said, "We're having, we're going into the locker room where he was the security guard at the stadium, and there were jerseys hanging in lockers, and I saw a jersey, and they said, "Don't touch anything. It's they want to keep continuity, so this place is secure." And I went to touch a jersey to move it, you know, just in case I could get it into the movie and, you know, just see the jersey in one place
Right.
and in the other. And she fucking nailed me right then.
Boom.
And
Boom.
we ended up going out for drinks with someone else, and they said that production was held for 2 weeks because Bruce Willis was working out on his ass because he had to do a shower scene where he could show the back part of him, and he needed his ass to look really good.
Why
And
couldn't
I
he just
guess
hire a stand-in ass,
I
man?
know,
That's what a lot of
seriously.
them do.
No,
He
but
wanted it to
it's
be
before
true.
before heavy duty CGI and all that stuff.
on.
He wanted it to
Hire
be,
a stunt dick.
no. You know, I guess Bruce Willis is all about his
being
own ass
him,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. But that's
Well-
funny when you said Terry Bradshaw. That's what brought it up to me on that.
It's
Well,
like you know, fill in boobs.
She also-
Did you hear about the new footage they found of Marilyn Monroe's first nude scene, man?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
God, man.
Marilyn Monroe. She
Marilyn
she had
Monroe?
done a nude scene. She was in a movie with Clark Gable or something like that, and so it was her idea that she was going to drop the sheets down and show herself nude, and so.
But they would never get it out back then.
Well, actually, she
think
did do a different one, but yeah, it was going to be risque. But the director's words were, honey, it's nothing that none of us have seen before," and he didn't put it in the film because he didn't need the fucking hassle,
Yep. Yeah, because oh man.
So I'm
back
trying to
then,
find
it
that
was
right,
footage.
right then, I think with the Clark Gable movie was in late 50s, early 60s, the same time the Kennedy brothers were
Tapping that.
double teaming
Dude.
Marilyn Monroe,
And
which was real tragedy. If you think about that, two of the most
That
powerful
Marilyn
men in the United
naked?
States, and I was a big fan of those
Oh,
guys.
this
I
is
was, I really
the-
was.
I'm sure you
Terry
were.
Bradshaw thing.
Oh wait, here it is. Okay, I'm going to tell you,
We're
Jimmy
watching.
Johnson.
Play-by-play. Jimmy's
Play-by-play.
saying, "Hey,"
He's
and
showing-
then here he is. Okay, they're zooming in on the picture.
There is Terry's
Oh,
white
but
ass.
he's got a great sense of humor, though.
Wait, Terry
He's
Bradshaw doesn't look.
Oh, he's turning red. Yeah, he is.
Wait a second. I don't even know if that's him. Oh, Michael Strahan.
Yeah.
Intercepted
Michael
it.
Strahan standing up for his honor. Oh, how about that
Yeah,
fucking
he was,
Michael
he was telling
Strahan?
them to put the photo away, that there were kids watching. People are trying to eat breakfast.
Look at that.
It was pretty
Strahan.
funny.
Strahan.
Oh, that's
It's like
fantastic.
nobody wants
I got the audio, too.
Oh, man. That was good. Is that a real picture?
Yes, it's really from the movie. He really did that scene in the
Yeah.
movie.
Really?
And
So
I
again-
even
Wow,
never
he
saw
has
the
an
movie.
old man ass.
The movie Failure to Launch. He called it.
Hey, listen, I belong to a gym. You see old man ass. Because
I have an old
I'm
man
55.
ass. Fuck you. I have an old man ass
Hold on a
looking
second,
too,
Lou.
man.
Let me explain something. When guys get above 65, 66, they're like aggressively nude. When they come out of the fucking shower, they're naked. You could be sitting on a bench.
Well,
and
you know
they'll
how many
walk up and
people
talk to you. If they're
shower
tall,
with clothes
their
on?
dicks will be right at your face level. And they'll talk to you, and they go get real close, and you're ready to go you're right at punch level.
Because at that point, nobody cares anymore.
Well, you care if you're a guy. You don't want someone's dick in your face.
Well, I'm sure for them, gravity's finally
guys
kicked
do,
in, so
maybe.
they feel good about themselves.
What? Yeah, they could just go. They're very aggressively nude.
No, but in the movie Failure to Launch, I think.
What's that movie about, man? Anyway,
I
About
can't
an
remember if
old-
it's,
I'll tell you what it's
if
about.
It's Owen
Matthew
Wilson or
McConaughey.
That's it, Matthew
Matthew
McConaughey.
isn't it a
McConaughey.
chick flick?
No, Matthew McConaughey.
Kind of, yeah.
Is this
I've never watched it.
30-something-year-old guy that's quite the catch, but he doesn't quite leave his family's house. He doesn't.
He doesn't move out.
Go out on his own. Doesn't leave. Start his own family. He's just staying single. That Irish. Well, actually, that's a stereotype of Irish guys that stay in their family's house and just they're juveniles until they're
I
like
thought that,
30,
I thought that
40.
was like,
I was kind of like that.
I thought that was Jewish.
Well, it could be
That
Jewish,
too.
but it's also Irish.
I think it's a
it was pretty
non-denominational thing.
Irish and the
it's-
Jews
I
have a
don't-
lot in
I
common.
don't even think it's not so much a singular culture, but it's a more of an old line of thought that's gone away.
Yep.
Wait, they
it
used to
used to
say,
be-
why was Jesus Christ Irish? Because he lived at home until he was in his 30s, and his mother thought he was God.
Well, see, Robin Williams said the same thing about it, but with the Jews. He said
Jews.
obviously Jesus was Jew. I mean, look at any Jewish family.
Italians.
Mother thinks he's the son of Christ. Lives at home until he's 30. Goes into his father's business. Of course, Jesus was a Jew.
No, the mother doesn't. In the
Italians.
Jewish family, the mother doesn't think he's the son of Christ.
Oh yeah, he did.
Not in the
No,
Italian
the son of
family.
God.
Son of God.
I know. I'm just picking up on the semantics.
So
I'm sorry to be
so
picky.
No, I
God-
messed up
if
a
God-
word. So sue me.
So that makes that actually
not.
Jesus is kind of a bastard, right? Because God impregnated some random chick.
No, God didn't. The Holy Spirit. No. Fucking who did it?
The Holy Spirit. if you're
somebody had to
Catholic-
do
The
it.
Holy Spirit.
Yeah,
No,
if you're Catholic, it was the,
the
Holy Spirit. If you're Catholic,
The Holy
come on,
Spirit.
I remember
Oh,
that
no,
shit
Southern
from
Baptist
fucking-
fan of God. It was
Look
God
at it.
himself.
You got to
man.
take it. Hey, you got to take it for a fact. The Jews told me. No, he's right.
Yeah.
It was the Holy Ghost.
It was the Holy fucking Spirit.
But there was a story in
Ghost
medieval-
sperm.
What was
Holy
it, the Canterbury
shit! Who knew you
Tales?
could get pregnant from
You remember
ghost
the
sperm?
Canterbury Tales? There was a story about this woman in medieval Italy, and one of the people telling the tales that she's very beautiful, but she's not very smart. And one of these guys figured,
It sounds like
I'm
Ann
just going
Coulter.
to come to her window at night. I'm going to come to her window at night and tell her I'm the Archangel Michael, and I've come to see her because she's so beautiful that I need to be with her. And he convinces her that he's an angel, and he's sleeping with this woman, and she starts telling the story to everyone around her, and they realize you're just getting fucked from some weird guy
stranger,
climbing
There you
through
go.
your window. This was in Canterbury Tales that was told in the Chaucer, right?
Chaucer.
1500s.
Well,
That is amazing. That was some dicey stuff going on.
we know school's back in session.
Yeah. I know. I don't know where I pulled that. See, sometimes I forget about stuff and
Well,
something.
no, I was more commenting that the teachers are starting to roll in now.
Oh, you're right. George came in. Any other teachers?
I don't see any quite yet, but I'm sure there'll be more here drinking a little bit later.
What's
Did we
that
ever-
song?
Did we ever finish explaining failure to launch?
No.
Well,
I don't
Matthew
know.
McConaughey's stuck at home, and Sarah Jessica Parker is in love with him and realizes that he stole, and she falls in love with the other brother, who's
Sarah, she's the
Some other
horse-faced
guy?
looking chick.
I don't know.
right?
Right.
But to
Yes. Yeah.
explain
Matthew
the
Broderick's wife.
explain the photo.
Really? She
When
married
Matthew
Matthew
McConaughey
Broderick?
moves out, he turns his son's bedroom into what he called the naked room. It's the room he got to go in and be naked in. So when his son was coming back into his old bedroom, Terry's in there naked, and that's the
Taking
scene.
pictures?
That's the scene from the movie.
Oh, okay. He's just sitting and turning around.
Yes.
And they walk in, and
They
he
walk
sees
in
that.
and he's naked. But the reason I tell that is because my friend David, the one that gave the
Right.
photo to Jimmy, did the same thing to his son's room. And his son comes home all the time from college to visit, so David
Did he have
makes
pictures?
sure to walk around naked in front of his son, and he's like, "What? This is the naked room. What are you doing?" Because it embarrasses the shit out of his son.
We had this conversation.
aggressively old guys.
We had this conversation a couple shows ago about my wife's daughter.
Oh, you
You walk around naked in front of your wife's daughter?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
No,
It's not as creepy as that. It's not as
No,
creepy as that.
I was passed out on my chair.
Easy
naked.
chair. He's on his lazy boy.
I got done with the day gig.
Saggy ball sack.
Drunk as fuck.
Drunk as fuck.
Sweaty,
get in the shower, get
sweaty
out,
saggy ball
naked.
sack.
Okay, I'm gonna sit down. on
Spread
the
leg.
chair.
In front of the fan and cool off
Yes,
because it's
exactly.
hot as fuck. Yeah.
So I
And
guess
how old is she?
She's 26.
Okay.
24, but I guess she knocked a couple times, but I'm just and so she walks in, I'm like, hey, and she's like, oh my god, close the door, I don't want to see this.
No, I'm past the point. I'm past the point in. I'm slightly a hippie and stuff like that, but no, my daughter's 11 now. She's never going to see me naked, unless I'm like 90 years old and she's taking care of me, and then
Unless you're
then
banging the old
then-
lady expecting her to be at a friend's house and they come home early and you're in mid-stroke on the kitchen table.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Oh,
No, that
was
was a
a
glass table. You can't fucking do that.
That
shit.
was
Oh,
a,
yeah, you can.
Nah,
What
see,
the
it's
hell's
weighted on it.
King of the Hill. That was a King of the Hill episode.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
That,
Bobby walked in.
And
He
Peg.
walked in. Hank walked in, and his mom was getting done by the new boyfriend, and Hank lost his vision for like 3 or 4 days.
The
That's
mom
pretty
was
funny.
being.
Oh, it was
done
on
by-
the
Bent
had a
over
boyfriend?
70s show
yeah,
too.
the new
Yeah.
boyfriend bent over a
They
table. or
got
something.
separated.
They were doing it. Eric and
Hank's-
Donna was doing
yeah,
it on the
Hank's-
kitchen table.
yeah, his
and
father and mother
we
are
can't eat here.
divorced.
They had to
Oh, I
sell
didn't
the
know
table.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cartoon over the.
I know. I
Yeah.
remember, but I didn't stay with it long enough to realize they ever
Oh,
got
yeah.
a divorce.
I thought they were divorced when it started.
No, they were together.
Okay.
Oh shit. Oh. Okay, well, I'm going to
Are we
thank. I
talking
want to
too
thank the Lone Star Ice House, and once again, I'd like to thank Donovan, Grow, Ashley, Erica, Cammie, Melissa, Raquel, and Sammy. We wish you all the best of luck. We perhaps if we go on a road trip, we'd like to come up there and do a show there, and perhaps we can bring the band with us to do it. You know what? Maybe we can make it like a promotional tour. We'll get sponsored by Tux Medicated
go.
Pads.
Depends.
Depends.
Well, no, I don't need.
Actually, you have
I
to
still
do the
have
generic
control.
version, which is
May not.
may not.
Could
or
be.
something.
Could be.
Could be.
Might have.
Not depends.
Not depends. Maybe the Clorox wipes.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Or you
Essentially.
can get the new improved version where when you shit yourself, man, it actually makes your turd smell like a rose.
Oh, there you go.
man.
I like that.
They used to have something called poopery.
You
They did?
Yeah, you sprinkled it in the toilet first before you blew it up.
Yeah.
Really?
And, well, and you know, you've heard of Certs the breath mint.
Yeah.
So they got
Ass mint.
inserts
Ass
the
mints.
butt
But
mint.
the butt
man.
mint.
That way you can truly say.
Because
I came up
there's
with
nothing
acid.
like being in a
Well,
house
no,
and
I-
spraying the
I
orange
came up with
spray. So
inserts
you
a
walk
long
out
time
and there's citrus.
Ass mints were a filter you stuck
No,
in
but
your ass.
inserts is, you remember Certs
Yeah,
the
that's-
breath mint?
yeah,
So
you're right.
inserts,
That
I came up
Febreze
with that
smells like
a
shit.
long time ago.
Exactly, it does.
I'm thinking 25 years ago.
This is a Stella?
Oh,
okay.
there you go.
Lagranita will work just
Okay,
fine,
that'll
man.
be good. Well, listen, this is Jim the Keys bartender. I'd like to thank Tony Allen. Say goodbye, Tony, the Keys
Goodbye, Tony.
Undertaker.
Goodbye, Tony.
Tony,
Luke
Tony,
Glenn.
Fanny
You know,
B,
next week
Fanny
we're going to have to
Tony.
revisit rental caskets.
Rental caskets,
Rental-
definitely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, rental caskets.
We gotta
We're gonna have to do it.
revisit rental.
Maybe we get
caskets.
shit. Okay. And Luke Glenn.
My
Hey,
new
Luke,
business,
you're
Rent a
playing-
Condom.
You're playing Thursday nights at
The Crib.
crib from now on. So
Thursday
if you're
night
down
late.
here until further notice, if you're coming down, if you're in Key Largo, check out Luke at the Crib.
You can
Starting
you
at
can come
9:30.
by
and
and
you're going to come into Catch here.
You can come by
and
the
see
Catch.
Bill.
You
can
can
see
watch
Cody
Bills,
James and
man.
the Key Billies.
Key Billy's on Thursday
and
night.
then you can watch all our drunk asses
then
get
you-
up on
you
stage
gotta-
together at the Crib.
and
And God knows what we're going to play.
and some Friday nights we have Cody James and the Key Billies or Luke Glenn,
Glenn.
here at the Catch. So you're going to have to check on our sites for that, but just please check on those. This is Jim the Keys bartender. Thank you for listening. I'm turning it over to Billy.
Well, thank you all. We do appreciate you all hanging out, and listening to us. We will be back. What is this? 98. 98. 98. 99 is going to be at Blackwater Siren, and then episode 100 is going to be up here next Wednesday.
We got a big show planned.
We got a big show planned. I think Luke and I might actually
big shoe.
I think Luke and I might bring some instruments up here and maybe try to do a song. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it.
Well,
kick
I'm
it
going to
around.
sing a very special song, and what
I
makes the
know.
song special is I actually sing it with my dick in my hand.
There you go. That is a special song. Well, thank you all so much. We do appreciate you listening to us. And we'd like to give another shout out to the
Lone Star Ice House.
Lone Star Ice House
Houston.
up in Houston, and all the beautiful girls that work there.
I still think I'm in an order.
I wish I was still living in Galveston so I could come up there and see you all, but we'd like to get down there and visit one time. Thank you all so much. We appreciate it. Thank you for spending time with us. We'll see you next Tuesday over at Blackwater Siren.